Kia ora, welcome back again. This is part 3 of my reaction to ex-Delta Force operator Mr. Kyle Morgan. So let's jump on in. Get that video.
Because I had on my kit. My kit stays in my ready kit bag, and I was able to. It's just like a Rolling Thunder or a North Face duffel roller, and it's got my basic go to war gear. My helmet, guns, my rifle, my pistol, my body armor, my panos, and that's your basic assaulter uniform and stuff. And so I got a phone call that morning, the day of the attack, and the phone call went something like this, where it was someone at the agency wanted to call to notify me about an attack that they had been made aware of that was ongoing, and it was 5 to 8 gunmen shooting up the front of the hotel, the Radisson Blu, in Bamako, Mali, and explosions.
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can.
And that's what they and launched from what appeared to be embassy driver or embassy vehicles. And that was the situation report, right? And they called me twofold to let me know, and then, but it's not like it was my job to. Really, I was the next door neighbor of the deputy, and they couldn't get a hold of him. So they're like,
Right. That's crazy. Just the information, but two, that line, that passage of information, the person who sounds like, from the sounds of things, he was supposed to get the call, they couldn't get a hold of him. Like, when you're on call, like, you make sure that your tools, your phone or your pager from back in those days, that thing is charged and ready to go, and you're ready to respond if you get a call out. Crazy so far, and we haven't even got into it yet, but the guns, explosions, 5, 6 to 8 gunmen shooting up the place. He's getting the information. I wonder what was going through his head. I wonder if he's thinking like, yeah, what do you expect me to do? Why are you telling me? Like, that's not my mission. That's not why I'm here. I wonder if there was any of that sort of thought in his head, or whether he was just thinking, okay, I'm going to get my gears, I'm going to tool up, and I'm going to go down and see what I can do.
Hey, can you also go check on so-and-so? We can't get a hold of them. Can you help us out? And I was like, sure. My next phone call, as I'm grabbing my kit bag, I didn't have to do anything but grab it and take it to the front, threw some pants on and a t-shirt, and was like, everything's in this bag. I know it is because I put it there. It's where it needs to be when it needs to be, or it's there, and I know that because I've drawn from it. It's going back to just, any tools or resources that you have, like, train with them, use them. And
just his routine that he would have had, the discipline, the structure, the flow, everything. He would have done that repeatedly so many times, taken his bag to wherever it is, whether it's range training, whether it's a holding area, a holding pattern, waiting for a task to happen, putting on the gear, going out, doing the job, coming back, deservicing, cleaning any kit and equipment, rebombing magazines, everything back up, replacing any frag or anything that needs to go back into the bag, close it up. He knows it's always good to go. So yeah, that's where I believe he's coming from when he's talking about, I know it's in there. I've got everything I need because I've drawn from it every single time for as long as he's been doing this job for.
When you need them, they need to be there. And so I'm on the phone with the MARSOC dude that is the closest thing to a warriors that I even within a 1,000-mile radius. I don't know. And I'm like, hey, you meet me at my house. I'm going to wake up so-and-so or check on them. I'll be out front. And they lived a mile away. And the the regional security officers, like the acting or the assistants, Mike and the other one, Sorry, I forgot your name right now.
It's all good. I'm sure he'll remember the name later. But yeah, like there's clearly a lot of stuff going on in his mind right now. And he's trying to recall a heck of a lot of information. And yeah, so I don't think his mate or whoever the other person is whose name he's forgotten temporarily is going to hold it against him.
they all came together, but when I'm knocking on the door of my next door neighbor, the deputy chief, he opens the door. And he's on the phone in underwear. And he's just like picking lint out of his belly button, and he looks at me. He's like, "Oh, hold on, I'm on the phone." I'm like, "No, hold on. There's the attack's going on. There's an attack going on right now, and I don't know exactly where the hotel is, but I know it's close, and I can hear gunfire." So I'm like, "That's definitely close." And it was about 3/4 of a mile or less from my house, which are like townhomes almost. And he's like, "I'm on the phone." Yeah, no, I'm on the phone with some of our guys in the hotel right now, like staying there. Cause a lot of temporary duty personnel like would stay there, whether it was our embassy or other Western embassies, like that's where they'd stay. But certain locations. And that's why the RSOs know, they don't say, well, they do, they should. And if the assessments they do is this a place where we would put personnel that are on, either permanent or temporary duty here, as a place of lodging, and they have to do these threat assessments. And to me, it made no sense why that hotel was even on there as a good place to stay. When, like, looking at it, like the reason they chose that hotel is not only for the density of like people, Westerners. If your mission was to kill as many Westerners as you can, you could throw a stone from across the street and hit the front of the, huge front glass door windows, because it's a soft target in the sense that it doesn't have any standoff. It's not in depth. Yeah. Like they have all these security apparatuses and mechanisms, but like barrier, like from a vehicular assault, but it doesn't stop people from, driving by and reaching out and touching someone. But so
this though, Kyle. I mean, you're talking about agency personnel, State Department personnel, ambassador types. They don't give a fuck about security.
Yeah.
All they give a fuck about is a nice place to sleep with a bar.
Nice pool. Really nice
and a pool.
Yeah, badass.
Again, hey, I don't know if those types, the ambassadors of the world, the dignitaries, the agency members they refer to people as, I don't know if they watch these podcasts. I hope they do. And I hope they can find it within themselves to go, you know what? These guys are 100% right. And I'm worrying about a pool. Is the hotel nice? How many stars rating has it got? And is it in a nice location? Easy to access, get out in the town, shops and whatever. But if you would just take some time to listen to your advisors or to your operators, man, with those threat assessments, I don't know who's doing them. You could probably, minimize the amount of your people, Americans or any country, Westerners, from being exposed and potentially ending up in a situation like what's happened here. But yeah, I'm laughing because of what they're saying is true. The swimming pool part gets me, and the nice hotel and the shops and what types of people are going to be there. Crazy.
Nice pool.
And that shit's
ignorance is bliss.
I've seen it in every country I've ever deployed in.
Yeah. So
I can see how annoying and frustrating this is, because for them it seems like, and they're probably doing a pretty good job of masking it, but they're serious. They're like, Sean Ryan's a chillax dude, super cool guy from what I can tell looking at these. But even I can tell in the limited exposure that I have to his show, when something is getting his goat, or he's not happy about it, and he's deadly serious about what he's talking about because they're just sick of that mentality. Now, I'm not saying everybody that they're referring to in those groups is like that, but the vast majority are, and that's where they're coming from. And I think that's why it's so frustrating and annoying for them.
He tells me, yeah, it's like it's their some of their TDY guys that were there to train whomever, and these are like, I met them like the day before. They're like NACP song, like old hard crusty MFers, man, and they're in there. Not again, like, but he not again, man. And he tells me, he's like, yeah, he just kind of gives me and I'm like, hey, man, like, give me their room numbers, their cell phone numbers. Like, he's like, why? He's like, because I'm gonna go get them. And he goes, like, record stops. Like, what do you mean? You do that? I'm like, yeah, I'm going there right now.
Yeah, motherfucker, there are Americans.
That's a start point. For me, I was like, thank you, please.
Jeez.
Now I have a room number, cell phones, and now I can get on the horn with them while I'm maneuvering en route, absorbing everything as it's happening and processing to come up with a plan of action to execute. And I'm not pausing to do it, not like taking a knee, facing out, and like it's happening real time. And it really like resonated with me looking back. Now I'm like, what did you think I was going to do? Like, why did you even like ask me that question? But it goes back to, you just don't understand like the mindset piece of, like, right.
Man, is true. I've cut him off again, but I'm sure he's going to explain it. But people that don't come from that space, they will never understand the mentality or the mindset of an SF operator who has likely joined, the people that I've been lucky enough to serve with anyway, pretty much all of them have joined the Special Forces because they want to serve, because they want to help people, because they want to protect them, not because they want to go out and murder people or anything like that. Now, if there's part of the job where you get a package and there's a task to do, HVT or whatever the case might be, or HRA or high risk arrest or high value target or whatever the wordings are that they want to use these days, you go and do that, but it's backed up with information as to why you're doing what it is that you're doing. In this case here, like, he didn't need any other information. He was going anyway, regardless of whether the guy who was picking lint out of his belly told him that there were Americans in there or not. That's the impression that I got from him, and that's what I'm thinking he's going to be doing, and he's just confirmed it. There was never a question in his mind. Like, what do you mean? Why would you even ask me that question? Now that there's American people there, his own countrymen and women, he's 100% going in. If he ever needed a reason, that was, like you said, he's just given it to him on a platter. So, yeah, mad respect, man. It's awesome. Those that don't know or don't understand will never understand.
Place, right time, right person. But it's also a matter of like, why aren't you doing something about it? Like, what are you gonna do? I ain't got time for that. So it was like, I'm gonna go do something. And I was able to convince him to give me those numbers and room numbers and stuff. And as I'm moving to the hotel, like, we kind of drove around and got into the front instead of driving right past it. Kind of leapfrogged around, dismounted, and then kind of walked up, patrolled up.
What are you carrying? What are you wearing?
I had just a t-shirt on, the civilian t-shirt, and like Prana, because they're stretchy pants. Nice. Sometimes men wear stretchy pants.
Might laugh, but you want good stretch, especially in the crutch and the groin area of your equipment, of your clothing, so that you can move. When you do kneel down, if you have to move quickly or squat down, drop down, whatever the case might be, you want some good movement, mobility, stretchability in there, so that you can do what you need to do.
It's a Nacho Libre reference, but and then just like some shit kickers, dude. And like, good thing they were pretty sturdy.
Plates, helmet.
Yeah. So like my regular like JPC with plates, helmet, my HK 416 with my normal accoutrement, you know, and then my Surefire RC2 suppressor and stuff like, and then my Panos. But no more. Like I didn't have breaching tools. I didn't have like bangs, or I didn't have all the extra little bits of kit that would have been really nice to have. But so as I'm coming up, like the RSOs, and like now he's talking with the ambassador, and then the other RSO gets called by MSG or Post One, and they're like, hey, you know, this guy's this one American just like called and said that he's trapped in a room on fire, and he's hiding under one of the banquet tables, and they're shooting over top of him. Please come get me, come help me. So between those two calls, there's a lot of noise, and I'm like, just filter through this. Like, which one is the most life? That one. So threat to life. I'm like, let's focus on this one real quick. Let's get the information. All right, I made the determination. Like, hey, Mike, you know where this room is? It's the banquet room, breakfast room. If I lead, like, can you help kind of point me in the directions I need to go? And he knew they had the ground knowledge of the inside of the hotel, but somewhat. And I was like,
what's going on when
go.
you're in there? I mean, is fire just
I
going?
haven't got in yet. Right now, I'm still. So the RSO's like, well, hold on. Like, we got to talk to the ambassador. I'm like, you're already talking to him, but what? We're going in to get this Terry, the American.
I love that. And they're saying to him, hold up, we got to speak to the ambassador. So you're talking to him. He's there right now. He's at the point of no return. He's going in with or without the ambassadors say so, you know. And bloody good on him, man. Incredible.
The first American in that room, the banquet room, because it was on fire and they were imminent life threat, right? It's threat to life of Americans. I was like, all right, that's now the pressing start point for me. And the fact that they knew I wasn't going to go through the front doors. They shot the whole fucking place up, like going in. And they chased a bulk of the people into the breakfast room, and that's where they ended up focusing their attention to get the most kills from the timing, right? So like 7:10 in the morning, that's breakfast time. To the time I entered, it was about 7:45, but I entered through a side door. I had to basically like break into a side entrance, service entrance or whatever, and then work my way through all these conference area, you know, big, huge rooms on the outer perimeter of the building or of the hotel. And I was able to, that opened up into the main foyer where it was like, if you think about embassy suites, where it's like an atrium, where almost 3-sided atrium with floors all the way, you know, it was like 7 stories. And you go into the atrium and it's like 2 spiral glass staircases kind of going all the way up on each side. It's like super exposed. And it's just like the most like overly stimulating snapshot I'd have ever taken, because I was absorbing all of it out front and like everywhere around me, because every corner I was the guy up front, everything was sensory overload. And it was the smells, the sounds, the fire alarms, the smoke, the haze, the smells of death, in Western dress. It was something that my brain was like, what? It was like short circuiting a little bit, because I had become so desensitized to life and death, but in certain environments, you know, and certain dress. And that's just, I think that's a part of a self-defense mechanism. But this, for one, I didn't get a chance to prepare my mind, body, or spirit for violence, which is like planning contingencies and rehearsals. And you do that with each other and a team and a troop. And And then you go out and do these things, and they're like incredible, but you buy down risk with a collective experience and rehearsed like plans of action that you just in place in the unknown, right? And it's I was just in reactive mode, and I was fully exposed, you know, my mind, body, and spirit was, and it was just awful to see.
It's unbelievable, unreal. Like, just, I'm sure those watching, you know, to get a sense of and understanding what he's describing, you can start to piece bits and pieces together of what he's talking about. That spiral staircase and the exposure that would have been there, the danger that he looked to ascend that way, or even just going through there, from what he's explaining and explaining so well. The smell of death, the look of death, seeing it in the clothing, the detail of the clothing. You know, there's, like you said, the preparations and stuff when you're going to war or for tasks. You're usually doing some rehearsals, and you've got a bit of a shared, what's the word? You're able to share that preparation and anticipation before going on to those types of missions. And by that, I mean anticipation, preparation for what you may encounter, terrorists or enemy, the need to neutralize those threats, or whatever case may be. You have an understanding of how they'll be dressed. So I'm, you know, skipping over a bunch of stuff here because he's explaining it super well anyway. But when you're then taking in the dress of the person, the Westerners that would have been there, and yeah, seeing that versus what he's been used to being surrounded and seeing, man. And he spoke about it, the sensory overload that he's feeling. No time to prepare. Literally, the call at 7:10. He's there on site by 7:40, 7:45. He's making entry, and now he's starting to make his way through. That's fast, man. With all the other comms that are happening in between, going and checking on the other person, the deputy who was picking lint out of his belly, talking on the phone, to getting the information of those Americans that were there and their room numbers and their mobile phones, to getting more phone calls, to getting calls about imminent death threat to people that are under heavy fire trying to barricade themselves. People are shooting over the top, versus this other thing, and then needing to prioritize again. Okay, we're going here. Hectic. And his ability to be able to go through that process, digest, and make sound decisions to go do what he's done. Amazing.
And
how many bodies were you seeing? I mean, how many people were killed?
Well, a couple. The first few were just kind of like sporadic in the foyer area, and then.
Did you know any of them?
No. No, they killed 23 people total, Westerners, to include one American citizen. Anita Datar was her name. And I know that name, and I'll never forget it, her face. And because she was the last one, I needed to get confirmation on. Like, I went back to her room probably 5 times that whole day, and cleared it again and again. And then I was able to confirm that she was one of the killed during the initial. But yeah, it was awful. She was in the like the blind leading the blind, like into, like, they chased them through the breakfast room, people, and then they set that room on fire, and then just were stacking furniture. They were trying to burn the place down, and then they chased everyone through the kitchen, and that's where Terry got left behind, the American that was in that room that they had set on fire, and he wouldn't move. He was just like froze in that, wherever he was in that room. But I kicked the doors in to that room, and I mean, even making it to that floor to get there was this big. I was like, you cover 10 to 2, you 10 to 2, like anyone. I'm like, fucking pull security and cover me while I move, because I'm about to make a real big movement, because I had to run out and get on this spiral glass staircase and just mad dash it, like, to get up to the second floor to hold up and then bring them up. And then I went in and just went right into kicking these French doors in. And it was like a cloud. The whole room was full of just fire and smoke. And I just ran in there. And it fucking floored me. Because I was like, well, I can't breathe. Imagine that. But like this mindset of like, it's a self-correcting problem, man. But like, it just kept getting lower and lower to the point where now I'm on my belly, like with my gun, like low crawling, gun light, yelling his name. And I'm like, wait a minute. Hey, first of all, no one's coming. I can't see any further. And I don't know which way is the fucking door I just came from because I can't see. So I was able to like crawl the fuck back out. And then
Holy
shit.
I just cut Sean off. I think he's about to say holy, S-H-I-T. And that's just exactly what's going through my head right now. This is phenomenal. Like just the bravery, the courage, the people might say, oh, he's crazy. See, he wasn't thinking about it. He's just going straight in. He's definitely not crazy, but to a point, you're right. He is just willing to go straight in, like literally throw himself into the fire. That's what he's literally willing to do. That's what he's doing because it's bigger than him. Why he's going, what he's doing is bigger than him. He's going there to look to save lives. People that he doesn't know or likely doesn't know. He knows some of them with their names on the paper and their phone numbers now and their bedroom numbers, but he doesn't know them. And then that's not just for the Americans. That'll be all the other people that are there in the hotel that he doesn't know. And he just wants to try to stack the odds back in their favor and save as many people as he can is what I imagine he's looking to do. So running into a room, black smoke, makes me laugh. Imagine that. Now I can't breathe. Now he's low crawling. Now he's maybe a bit disorientated, forgetting where the door is, manages to get back. This is unbelievable, man. Incredible bravery and self-mastery. Just the ability to master yourself, to throw yourself into the fire, to go and do something like this. Unreal.
This isn't working. And I was like, get him on the phone, like direct, because they were talking through a cutout through the MSG, the Marine Security Guards at Post 1, and then relaying to us. I'm like, fuck all that. Like, we got him on the phone direct. And then by that point,
watch my transformation from size 20 to size 12 with a kitchen walking workout. This is what weight loss walking looks like.
Because I went and did one of the lessons learned that I changed the way we train or had a part in that was communicating the fact that hostage rescue, hell yeah, we're great at it. But what about in a fire environment? So we started training with rescue 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up in New York, the FDNY, and they're really good at like manipulating a fire, to.
That's awesome. How cool is that? Taking the lessons learned from his experience, which would have been, I'm assuming, completely brand new to him. It's kicked open the doors, black smoke, running straight in. Imagine that, can't breathe. Taking all that information and a heck of a lot more and working with and reaching out to experts in that space. Fire departments, great at manipulating fires, like you said. Their knowledge, their skill to be able to grab that and utilize that and incorporate that into a training package. That's super smart. That's awesome.
That it's going to make it worse over time, but for that minute or two, it lifts and you can see further and they can go in and grab somebody. And they've been doing it for a long time. So between that and forcible entry is something I changed the way we train. And I was able to, pull him at that point. I was able to, for one, like know which direction he was because it's a huge room. And then it lifted enough to where I was able to get deep into there and then like just pull him out he just looked like death, man. Like he had talked to death and he said, "No, hold up." And I carried him out, and loaded him up and in a car. Like that's where it was integral for having like the RSO and the relationships they have because they were working the embassy like drivers and stuff like shuttles. basically going back to a safe area away from this fucking hotel. And, you know, while this is all happening, you know, the embassy's giving me, you know, there was some people at the embassy that they knew what I was like capable of doing, and they weren't questioning it. They were just like, what do you need? And same with my command in Germany at the time. Like, it was like,
that's wicked. I'm going to pause it there because it's on the 30-minute mark. But what I am going to do is I'm going to just download, cross this over. Won't worry about editing it. And I'm going to come back and do another one. I'm going to do another 30 minutes. This is awesome. He's getting into the meat of it now. And it's just incredible to see. So thanks for sticking around. If you like, I'm going to do another video straight away. But in the meantime, there may be some other things that get thrown up on the channel between now and then. So as always, keep tuning up, keep staying in the fight, go always a little further, and who dares wins. Get uncomfortable, put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and look at the growth and the learning that you'll experience from that, and take that with you and apply it going forward. So until the next video, which is going to be shortly, we'll see you soon.